Okay, can people hear me? I'll just wait in the chat until, oops, I don't have my microphone on me. That would help. Good to see you, BitMajo. Thank you for joining this stream. I don't know why this comment is so large here. Let's see if I can shrink it a little bit down here. Make it more reasonable for people. There, that should work. That should work. Sound is okay? Thank you, thank you. They finally started shipping. Yeah, well, people in China have had these for a couple of weeks and have been making videos. I think Germany, at least, I've seen people get it there based on the subreddit. And my order was supposed to come in yesterday. Then FedEx says on Tuesday. And then last night, very late, they said Sunday. So it literally arrived 30 minutes ago. So we are very happy to try it out. And let me, now what, just one more thing. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do a live stream now. And actually, you know, we have so many people in Australia and Europe, etc. I'm actually gonna do a live stream like really late my time. So a second live stream, obviously it won't be an unboxing because I will have unboxed it during this live stream. But if there are questions or people want me to try things, I'm happy to do another one. So I'll definitely do that. I'll schedule it after this live stream. Okay, let's see. We have Chris Fox, good to see you. And Nizio, hello. And let me just tell my Discord that I am live now. Live now. Live now, and let me paste in the link to the. I'm gonna sneeze, so it's allergy season. Sorry, I'm not a very elegant sneezer. That's fine. Let me put the link in the Discord too. The live stream. Okay, 12 a.m. here. Okay, wow, thank you for staying up. Again, I'm gonna be streaming later, so let's take a look. I don't think you can see what I see. So let me just get started and turn on the overhead. Seb, I ordered all three. However, they canceled the order because it was mistakenly put out too early. So Wacom is contacting everyone who's answered orders they canceled, and they've been telling them it's very nice of them actually. They've been telling them, hey, we saw you order these tablets. This one is now available. This one's now available. They just told me a few days ago the medium was in stock in the US, so I ordered it. They then a few days later told me the small is in stock. I'm really waiting for the large. Once the large is there, I'm going to order the small and the large, so I'll have all three. But for right now, I just have the medium, which is a good size because that's what I recommend for most people is a medium size. Anyway, okay, let's get to the overhead. Let's see. Okay, we have an overhead. Sorry again, we have a little bit of a messy desk, and what I'm going to do is clean it up a little bit by removing the microphone. And you should still be able to hear me. If you can't, just scream. And what do I need to do? I'm gonna move this out of the way as well. Keep my water here. And this, okay, I think I'm reasonably clear now. Okay, so first of all, it just arrived, and let's zoom in a little bit. This is, you know, Wacom's pretty standard plain packaging. Let me turn on a little bit of extra light for us. Okay. And, you know, they're going very eco-friendly. So It's not like these colorful boxes that we get these days from Huion and XP Pen. Let's see, Nizio has a question or comment. Could I compare it with the XP Pen Deco Pro Gen 2, like the size comparison? Absolutely. Conveniently, for testing reasons, I actually bought the Deco Pro MW Gen 2, just because it's smaller, and I needed one smaller because it's easier to work with for my testing. So I'll compare it to that size, okay? Now let me cut this open. So yeah, these boxes aren't fancy anymore. Well, they're environmentally conscious, so I can't, can't criticize them too hard. Okay. There's just one piece of, I don't even know if I needed to do that, to be honest. Okay, there we go. Not quite as elegant as the way Apple unpacks stuff, but decent. Yeah, let's put this box over here. By the way, I'll tell you just up front, these boxes, you can probably tell, are much smaller. Not only the tablet's smaller, but just the old Intuos Medium is a pretty big box, and the large is huge. So that's one thing I just noticed. The box is small. I'll tell you right now, it feels light. In fact, yeah, you can just notice it's lighter. Okay, and then this thing is in a black cloth bag here. Woo! Okay. Okay. You know what? This is perfectly black, so I'm gonna go get an extra light, just so I'm gonna show you things, and it'll help. So give me just 1 second. I'll be right back, and we can admire its beauty. Okay, I am back. I'm still using my fancy microphone setup. Don't you like it? Blue painter's tape. Okay, let's get the overhead view going. I am very excited, Chris Fogsart. Very. Okay, I find like having this little aperture, I forgot what these are called, but these are really nice lights because it helps me see. I'll just tell you, first reaction, honestly, it looks nice. It looks real nice. It feels in my hand different. Those of you know I have a Move Ink, and I'll tell you right now, this actually gives me Move Ink vibes. Okay? It gives me Move Ink vibes because it is crazy thin. Now it's a little thicker toward the top than the bottom, which is like the Move Ink. You'll notice it. In fact, if you give me a second, I'll tell you exactly how much it weighs compared to the Intuos Pro Medium that I have, a PTK-670. Okay, PTK-670 weighs 454.9 grams. This weighs 401.7. I will say it's funny because this feels like it weighs less, even though it's like, 459 to 400. So maybe I'm measuring that wrong, but this actually feels weirdly lighter than this into the old Intuos Pro. Yeah, it looks crazy small. It looks, for a second I thought I got the wrong one. But it is the medium. It is the medium. And let's see if I can, let me just comment a little bit. Well, I don't know why the comments got so big like this. It's weird. Yeah, it is the medium. And I'll just sort of show that to you because it's not obvious. So I'm putting my hand here. That's about how to where the dots are. And so there's little dots here, right? And I'll move the Intuos medium over here. The dots are the same place, right? So let's put them next to each other and just see side by side, and then I'll stack them, okay? Because this is a little wild, to be quite honest. Move this out of the way. Okay, here they are next to each other, okay? Again, this feels much lighter, even though it isn't technically, measured as much lighter. And here it is stacked on top. You can see what has happened here. We lost a huge amount of bevel here, right? Because the buttons are there. The next thing that happened was, obviously, the buttons have moved to the top, but it's still not as tall, right? It's still not as tall. So it is smaller in all ways. And what's happened here, not everyone knows this, so I'll make sure I clarify it. On the Intuos Pro 2017 Medium, this active area, I know it's hard to see, right? But this is the active area that I'm tracing out. That's about 16 by 10, something like that, okay? This is, I believe, 16 by 9, okay? What does that mean? What that means is, they've actually kept, actually, let me take a look here. They've kept the height of the active area the same, right? So this is the same. This height is the same between the two. What's different is that the length is actually wider. So we actually got a big, I know it's super hard to see, but the two dots are here, right? And then here are the two dots for the Intuos Pro, the older one, right? So you see, bigger, smaller. So there's actually more active area here. And that's really due because they kept the height, but they made the aspect ratio match 16 by 9. Okay. Another thing, now this is not a new tablet, this one, so it's, I'll be honest though, just looking at it, I'm talking about the active area, this surface, looks really different. And I haven't touched it yet with a pen, but it's kind of glossier. And there's no cover here. This is actually just the tablet. To my finger, it feels just as smooth, but it just has a more clean look to it. Maybe it's just because I've used this so much. Now, Wacom says that you can replace these sheets, right? Like you can buy a replacement sheet. I didn't see the sheet for sale on the Wacom website. So we'll see about that. I will tell you that if this sheet is actually, let me just back up. The sheet here is pretty large, and I think it's kind of thick. So really, this tablet is even thinner than it looks because the sheet is actually occupying like a millimeter or so. Okay, and then this top part is it's plastic, but it has a different texture. Okay, now these buttons, we'll get to them, but just to make sure everyone knows what we're seeing here. There's a wheel, there are 2 scrolling wheels and 4 circular buttons and 1 in the middle, okay? And actually they feel nice to click. They do feel nice to click. I will tell you right now, I always hated this, which is touch sensitive. It was just it just irritated the heck. And that's actually one reason why I disable these buttons very often, because, actually not often, I disable these buttons all the time, right? I see this comment with the weight. We'll get back to it. So I like that. One more thing is these, you can probably see it. This wheel is actually smaller than this wheel. It looks like it's, 30% smaller. But there's 2 of these now. Now, one question people asked is, what does this thing, it actually spins, by the way. Let me zoom in so everyone can actually see the spinning. It actually, can you see it? It's actually spinning. And each little movement has a little click. It's not loud, but it's not click, 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 like loud, like clicking a mouse, but you can hear it a little bit and you can certainly feel it. So you know when these spin, right? Like it takes just a tiny bit of force to move them. So that's good because you don't want it to just move like with just a small touch. It takes just a little bit of force to rotate them. Okay, a few questions. Silly Champion says the spec sheet for 27 medium said it's 700 grams versus 411 grams. Let's recheck this because maybe I'm wrong, okay? Okay, let me put it back on the scale. You're right. I'm measuring it as 430. I think what happened was when I put this on the scale, there was another object there, and this actually was held up by the other object. So that's what was going on. Okay, so yeah, it is much lighter now. We understand the numbers. This was, what was it? 732. 730 also to 400. And yeah, it looks like we have the same, basically the same numbers, Silly Champion, for everyone can see. So sorry for that confusion. Albert OG, I am very curious about the buttons. I'll try it out. I normally disable the buttons, but I will say I'll go on my button rant a little bit later. There's a lot to talk about. Bitmajo, I'm glad for the extra dial and finally able to use the dial shift button as a shortcut key also, but I can't get why the buttons are on the top. That's the biggest controversy of all time. We'll see how it works out. You got to tell me how to pronounce this. I'm on board with the buttons on top. I also disable the left side buttons because I click them accidentally. Yeah, I disable them all the time. It's the first thing I do when I get a Wacom tablet. Yeah, there is, people can't see it. If I have, do I have my other? This plastic here has a very slight speckling. If you ever have like a professional camera, like a Sony A7 IV or something, those kind of cameras, you know how their body has a slight texture? That's actually what's up here. You don't really notice, you can see it. In fact, to be quite honest, let's see if I can bring it in closer here. Actually, let me get my webcam, which can zoom in, and I'll show you. One second. And then I'll show you the speckling. Right back. Okay, I am back. And let me put my music back on because it's nice to listen to something while we're just kind of waiting here. Breaks up the monotony. I just wanted you to see this. I actually this is a little cheap USB microscope actually. And I'll plug it in here while you look at the top of my head. And let me turn this off because it's got its own light. And let me see if I can switch it over. 1 second. Ooh. Maybe too zoomed in. I may have to use the other webcam, but there is definitely a speckling pattern here. This is a little too zoomed in. I'll use a different camera for this. I have a lot of webcams. In fact, I just bought a new webcam, an OBSBot Tail 2, which is a PTZ camera, and it has 5x optical zoom. And I want to see if I can use that for my overhead. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, this is a little bit easier to deal with. It's upside down though, right? Okay. Can you see the texture? I hope I can control the zoom here. I guess I can't. But there's a little bit of texture. You can probably see it, right? This is smooth. It's very slight texture there. Yeah, there you go. You can see it then very clearly. It's nothing weird, but I have to be honest, it actually makes the tablet look just very slightly dirty, you know? Tablet Adams, Albert OG says. Okay, let me go back to my overhead here. Overhead is this one. Yeah, okay. Okay, and what we're gonna do is we're gonna plug. Actually, you know what? We gotta unbox it. I didn't actually finish the unboxing. What do we get here? We get. It says number 1, connect a cable. Number 2, download a driver, and there's some QR code nonsense. Okay, and then there's a quick start guide. Now you know. I normally just don't read these guides, but I'm going to open it up here just so everyone knows what to do. Right? So, basically it's just talking about the cables. There's a USB-A to USB-C. It says it does Bluetooth. It's pointing out that there's a button right here that goes back and forth. Oh, sorry, you can't see my hands. Back and forth. And that switches the Bluetooth, because you can pair it to 2. There's an on-off switch for the Bluetooth. And then, so according to this, and I know it's not zoomed in enough for this, what this is trying to communicate is you can connect this with a wired cable to one PC, of course, or one computer. And then the Bluetooth can switch between 2 or 3. Now, obviously, you can only use it with one computer at a time. But I think the scenario they're trying to accomplish here is people who work at home and then who have to kind of roam a little bit. Maybe they go to work or some other studio. So you can connect it to different places, right? Maybe you have different workstations. There's a battery indication. I'm not sure if this means, it's not clear here. There's no light that I can see that talks about battery. Other than that, we get this Pro Pen, which is the weird one, which has the, it's not the Pro Pen with, oh wait a second, it does have the weight apparently. Yeah, it does have the weight. Sorry, my mistake. So the normal Pro Pen 3 instructions, and then here are all the accessories. So we get the pen, this is the full Pro Pen 3, the cable, and then a new little stand, and here's a diagram of all the buttons. And that's it, okay, so pretty simple. Now where's my cable? Actually, here's the pen. I'm going to put it off on the side for a second. Cable comes with this thing, which is a little USB-C to USB-C to USB-A in case you don't have a USB-A port. And hang on, I'm going to sneeze. Sorry. Oh, I'm such an embarrassed sneezer. And there's a little bit of like tape on this thing. Okay, so I'm gonna just leave this here. Okay, one change, not a big change, but the old Wacom Intuos Pro cable had an L shape here. This does not, okay? Let's see. Take a little few comments here. 3 polygons. I have to use the disc for brush size, yes or no. I refuse to fallback keyboard. We can try using the disc for brush size. I'll test it out. So an option using upside down. I think there should be. We will definitely try that, Seb. Bitmajo. Yeah, it should be. It should be. And by the way, there's just only one USB-C port, which is right on the right side. Okay. Is that right? No. Is that? Hang on. What is this? Oh, this is that Kensington lock type thing. Okay. So the USB-C port's on the upper right, very reminiscent of the Moving design. So I'm going to plug it in, and I got to plug it into my my computer. Now it has a USB-C port, so I have to use this thing. Very nice of Wacom to remind us very clearly that it's the Wacom. I wish I could say this cable feels very high-end. It does actually feel kind of a little bit high-end. Okay, let's hope this works. Okay, it detected it, so let me move this stuff out of the way. And my scissors out of the way. Okay, now, what am I seeing? Give me a second, I have to get to a different computer and show this to you. So when I plugged it in, I already have the Wacom driver installed, by the way. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm going to, where is this thing? Oh, Wacom Center. Wacom Center takes up a lot of space. Sorry, sneezing. Okay, sorry. Whew. Let's go to, I think it's demo 1. Nope. Let's try the other one. Okay, when I plugged it in, I already had the Wacom drive installed. It just appeared like this, welcome, and then it says all the standard stuff, blah, blah, blah. I'm just gonna skip it, which I always do. So here's the express key settings. So this is interesting. They call, okay, I think what they're saying is if I click in the middle, it'll click the radial menu. And these buttons are configured like this. It's not so obvious. The top button is display toggle. Okay, that's convenient. Radial menu brings it up here. Oh, is the middle, oh, this middle is display toggle, my mistake. And the right is change settings, and then settings here. What's this one set up to? Oh, this is like navigation. So this dial is set to up, down, left, right, and then dial toggle. Let's click on the button, see what happens. Okay, I clicked the middle of the dial, okay? Whoa, I don't know what just happened there. Oh, I see. Can you see there's a slight change here? When I clicked it, it was on auto scroll. I clicked it again, it goes to rotate, right? And it says skip on the third. I don't know why it says skip. Auto scroll, rotate. Okay, so what about the one on the right? Let's click that one. And it switches between brush size and layers. So it looks like the default, oh, this is the default setting, okay? So interesting. Still trying to understand what they mean by skip here. It's a little bit confusing to me. Okay, and I'm gonna do one more thing. I just want to see if Wacom Tablet Properties recognizes this, because that's the other Wacom app. Wacom has been moving things from Tablet Properties to Wacom Center, and this is a new tablet, so I'm wondering if it actually appears at all in Wacom Tablet Properties. It does appear actually, which is weird. It says it's just Intuos Pro M. Oh, display toggle, you have to go to the Wacom Center. Express keys you can change here, and you can control the dial. So the old app still sort of works to some degree, right? Okay. Okay, I need to take a quick bio break, and I'll be right back in just a few minutes. So just hang on and post any questions. Oh, I see you do have questions, so give me 1 minute. I'll be right back. And be back. Okay, I'm back. Let's get back to looking at this tablet. And I think we were showing you the driver. While we're doing that, let me just take a quick look at the questions. Let's see. Wacom driver doesn't always include options to rotate tablets that have buttons on top. Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that. This is the medium 3 polygons, not the small. Bitmajor, I thought the small one had, maybe it just had 2 buttons. We'll take a look. We'll take a look later. The screen overlays seem a bit bigger than they used to be. Seb, what do you mean by screen overlay? You're talking about the little menus that come up. I think they do. I think that's what you mean, and I think, yeah. They previously, it sometimes came up in really small text. I think you could override that. A perfectly normal internet user says skip is a third option to, but you can have, but it seems by default it's set to be skipped. So you say, oh, I see. It means it's not set, is I think. Like it's, okay. Yeah, that was a little confusing for me. It's also similar to 2017 Intuos Pro. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, I think we're good on drivers. I'll be honest, nothing here is really surprising me. I'm looking through these again to see, oh, this is interesting. I clicked on dials. And what do I see? Rotate, oh, I see where skip is now. Yeah, so can I change it? If I click on skip, I can make it do something? Now I'm confused actually. I click on assign dial toggle to express key to toggle between settings of the nearest dial without opening Wacom Center. I have to be honest with you, this UI confuses the hell out of me. I do not know what it's trying to communicate. Let's click on rotate, see what it says. Okay, now I see. Rotate shows you this. So I click on skip. Oh, I see, I can click here. So I can make skip do something like, oh, I don't know. Keyboard shortcuts. Huh, not that. Recommended, oh, they have some recommended settings. Click. I'm a little surprised. I expected to see things like I could make this skip, change it to the mouse click or something, but it's not doing that. I'll have to think about that. This is a little confusing, this experience, to be quite honest. I click on display toggle. This is, I think, similar to what we already see with Wacom, the current Wacom tablets. Okay, let's get to drawing, okay? Now, actually, before we do that, I got my notes up for people who wanted me to try some things out. Let me show you what we have for drawing. Okay, so we have the grip pen, the Wacom One 2023 pen, CP923, Wacom One 2019 pen, CP913, the Art Pen, Pro Pen 2, an existing Pro Pen 3, this came from the Move Ink, and then we have this Pro Pen. Let me open it up. Actually, you know what, there's one more thing I want to do before oh, jeez. The little button things came out. That's normal, that's okay. I just didn't expect it to come out. 3 of these button things. What the hell's the pen? Okay. What the heck? Oh, these are the accessories for the pen. Okay. Where's the pen? Because you know that's kind of useful. Uh-huh. Is it here? Oh, here it is. It's like this little, I didn't see this. And there's like this little flap, and you open it up. So there's the actual pen. So this is the Pro Pen 3. And just so everyone knows, there's several versions of this Pro Pen. The one we want is the one that has the little metal weight in it. This is the right one. The Move Ink came with a different Pro Pen. Let me show it to you. The Move Ink came with this one. Let me turn on this light here so you can see. That's the Move Ink Pro Pen. Take a look what came with it. So the same behavior, but this one has 3 nibs, right? This is just a plastic plug they put in there. So it's the same sort of behavior. It's just that this Pro Pen comes with more accessories, basically. Now, I've used the Pro Pen 3 for quite a while. I have to tell you that I'm sure this was not intended, but this piece that screws on, it invariably comes loose. Like every time I pick up the Pro Pen 3, I have to like check, because it's always a little loose. I have to screw it back in. So that's a little irritating. Not a killer problem, but like a little irritating. Okay, I need to put these little pieces of stuff somewhere so I don't lose them. These little extra buttons. I'm gonna put them in a little pencil holder. Okay, and there's a few questions. Yeah, Nizio says the grip pen is goated. Yeah, absolutely, it's goated. Since you have 3 Pro Pen 3s, are you gonna test if they have consistent? Actually, Nizio, this is my 6th Pro Pen 3. So this few days ago, I actually measured on my Pro Pen 3s. So let's take that as a cue to talk about the Pro Pen 3s and the Pro Pen 2. So you have to give me a minute because I have to get, I have to open up a PowerPoint that I want to show you all. Where's my PowerPoint? Documents, blogs. Okay, just waiting for this thing to, oh, of course. Of course. Let me try another way of doing this. I don't have PowerPoint installed, so I have to use the web version. Not a problem. Not a problem. Just got to get there. Or do I have to, actually, you know what? I'm actually going to have to install this, aren't I? Sorry for the delay. I need to do this, otherwise you won't be able to see the content. Or will you? Maybe I will be able to show this to you. Using the web. Yeah, I'll use the web. 1 second, as I use the web. We can use a cloud service to show you this document, this PowerPoint. I know you can't see anything yet, just gotta give me a little bit of time. You were the older, okay. Yeah. That's the ticket, we got it. We got it, okay. Blah, 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 PowerPoint. Okay, so in my SharePoint, which I'm gonna show you in just a second, let's talk about the pens, okay? This is demo 2. Okay. So let me scroll down. And we're going to talk about the Pro Pen 2 first, okay? Okay, let's just take a look. Now I have measured 5 of these pens, and I'm going to measure, I think, 6 soon. Now, all of the pens look like they start in the same place. 1 gram, 2 gram, 3 gram, they all look the same in this chart. But what you want to notice is the curves are all very close, right? And some of the variance here is probably due to just measuring error on my part. But they have a very tight grouping. Now, they end in different maximum pressures. Basically, all of them are basically 700 and above, okay? It's a really high maximum pressure. So Pro Pen 2 has a very wide pressure range, okay? Now, and I call these the best pens, right? And actually, someone has a question here. Yeah, Albert, I think at this point I have 60 pens. I'd have to double check. I have to do my counting. I do have a lot. And we can get a real number actually soon. Okay, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a look at the Pro Pen 3. And the model ID is ACP 500. Okay, what do you notice here? Okay, very tight grouping. Now, one of them ends early at 500 max pressure. Now, if you take a look at this, it's consistent with the rest, but kind of deviates. This green line, that I'm thinking right now, that's me, meaning I made a mistake. So I would sort of exclude it a little bit and think it's probably more normal looking, like it's probably with the other ones. And where are the other ones? The other ones all end at around 600 and above to 700. So what I notice consistently with the Pro Pen 3 is they don't have 100 gram force less maximum pressure, which is a surprise to me. And that's not bad. I mean, like 700 gram force is a lot to press. And in fact, one of these does go up that high, but the rest are like 650, maybe 600. So I think it is, since I've measured 5 of these pens now, this is my 6th pen, I would say, I'm not a statistician, but I think this is significant. There's a clear difference between the max pressure of the Pro Pen 3 and the Pro Pen 5. Pro Pen 2 and the Pro Pen 3. Now, I don't think this is going to affect a lot of you because it's a lot of force to hit down with 700. But there's a slight difference in the pen in terms of maximum pressure. Okay, now let's. What do we want to do? We want to draw something, right? Let's see what we got. Am I got a clip here? Yeah, I got a clip. But let's try Krita. And let's do some basic testing here. Okay, you can't see it. Let me bring it down here. Actually, let me give you a different view of this, so it's a bit easier for you to follow what I'm doing. I think I want this one. No. Oh. Hang on, I gotta find the right. The right way of showing this to you. Not that. Okay, we'll figure this out in a second. Okay, not quite what I wanted to show you, so give me a second. I'm trying to show you my hand drawing. I must have deleted the scene for this. So it's okay, we'll figure it out in a second. I'm gonna get here and I'm gonna just make it happen correctly for everyone. But you just gotta give me a little bit of time. Few scenes. There we go. I don't know why. I must have deleted that. It's so funny. I'm gonna duplicate this or this. Sorry, this is getting a little confusing with the way this Ecamm thing works. There we go. So I'll put my face on the bottom here. And then I'm going to show you the camera of my hand, which is the overhead. Okay. See my hands. I'll put that down here. And then I'll show you the screen, which is from that monitor. I think this is what I want. Yeah, this is what I want. That way you can see what I'm doing with my hands and how drawing is actually working. And I'll move my face a little bit over here. Look at those rounded corners. I didn't quite expect that. Okay, this I think is almost good enough. I'll just make one more adjustment so you can see it a bit better. Okay, I think you can see what's going on here. And if you can't, just let me know. We can always make this work a little bit better. In fact, I think I will make it a little bit better by make the screen a bit bigger. And bring these up to the front. And my face to the front here on the bottom right. Okay, sorry for the delay. I just want to make sure you can see as much as possible as what I'm doing so you're not confused about the quality of the strokes. Whew, okay, there's some real live stream editing, okay. There we go, what we want is Krita. And I want to create a new document here. Why is Discord showing? Ah, stupid Discord. Did Discord's UI change recently? Because something feels different about it, but I don't know if that's me or something else. Okay, let's see, Nick has a comment. So he wasn't joking, he actually got it, congrats, disgusting. Nick, can you give us some context on this promo with Ryan Kittleson and why it's disgusting? I'm not familiar at all with what's happening. Love to know more. Okay, and Krita made a stupid tall document, which is not what I wanted. That's okay. So let's just take the pen. Actually, I'm gonna start with the Pro Pen 2, okay? And just see what happens. Oh, I gotta do the mapping. Right now it's mapped across 2 different monitors, so let's get to Wacom Center and take care of that. Hello, Wacom Center, where are you? There we go. I want Pro Pen 2, which is what I'm using this second. And then I want mapping. You see how it's mapped now? I want to map it down here. So map to one display. They've really changed this UI quite a bit. Apply. I mean, I'm used to Wacom tablet properties, so. Force proportions, what do? We always turn it on. No matter what, we turn it on. Now what's interesting here though, is that when I turn it on, it actually says it's detecting a little bit of inactive area, which means even though I think this is 16:9, there's a little sliver of it, which is not exactly 16:9, so it's left over. Okay, so now it feels correct for me to draw. Great. So let's draw on Krita. This is with the Pro Pen 2, okay? I'm giving a strange face because something's different. This is the normal plastic nib. I'm gonna put the Pro Pen 2 on top of the old Intuos for a second. And I'm just gonna move it on something else, something that isn't scratched up. Okay, this is going to be hard to convey, okay? The texture is different with the plastic nib at least. It does not feel as textured. It does not. I do not know how to describe this. The texture feels, and maybe I'm hallucinating, it just feels slightly softer. And on the old Intuos Pro, which I'm holding in my hand when I'm drawing on it, it feels a little harder. And another thing is, I can hear the scratching on the surface a little bit. The Intuos Pro, the old one, is not very loud, but you can detect a little scratching. It's not, you don't feel it here. That's weird. It's a weird feeling. I have to be quite honest with you. It's a very weird feeling. I'm gonna plug in the Intuos Pro, actually I'll leave that alone. So that was with the Pro Pen 2, okay? Let's try the Pro Pen 3, which has, I gotta make sure it's not the felt nib. It looks like it has it has a plastic nib, okay. At least that's the default nib. It definitely feels smoother. Oh, sorry. It doesn't feel slippery. It's not like an iPad. It doesn't feel like glass. It feels softer. It feels like it has texture. You know how some things feel like plastic, but almost like they're rubberized a little bit? It gives me that vibe, right? Not in an unpleasant way. It feels quite nice, actually. It's just softer. When you put the nib on it, it feels softer. Just as an experiment, I'm gonna try just a different pen. I'm gonna try the Wacom CP913, okay? Okay, that is also giving the same vibe. So I don't think it's the pen, I think it's the tablet surface is different. It does not feel as textured, and we're gonna verify that actually, because we're gonna try two things. You gotta give me a moment here. This isn't quite a microscope, but the microscope webcam I have is a little too much actually. I'm putting this on the these names are getting me confused actually. The new Intuos Pro. And I'm going to change this camera to the So this is a close-up of the texture. I can add a little bit of light. There's some light. Maybe a little too much light. I'll add some extra light from the outside. Okay, that's the texture. Now what do you notice? What I'm noticing is, besides dust, you can see there's a kind of there's actually a pattern. You see there's some regular lines there. I think the lines are actually up and down on the tablet, okay? Or left and right, I'm not sure because of the way this camera is rotated. But you can probably just lightly see them. Let's take a look at the Pro Pen, sorry, the Intuos old one. Get rid of some dust. It just looks, you can tell there's something different about it, can't you? That's the old one. And you can see just a slight pattern. It feels different. It feels different. This probably didn't fully capture it, but there is something different about it. Let's see if there's any questions here. Three Polygon says less texture equals longer pen tips life. Yeah, it should keep your pen tips lasting longer, absolutely. Can you compare the texture with the PTH-460 as well? That one has less texture. Yeah, I can do that. Why don't I just do that right now? Give me a second. Let me go fetch my, I think I have a 460 nearby. Just give me a minute, I'll go get it. Okay, and that was actually a good suggestion because you can see the size of this compared to the 460, the old one. This tablet is just a little bit bigger than the old 460. In fact, if you were to remove the buttons, it's very close in size to the 460, which is interesting, okay? How's it feel? Let's try Pro Pen 2 and Pro Pen first. Okay, this still feels different from the PTH-460. The PTH-460 seems to have less texture than the PTH-660. I would say this, the Intuos Pro 2025 Medium has more texture than the PTH-460, if that helps, okay? Let's see. Nick left a comment. I think this is pure imaginative advertising with zero factor feedback. I'll have to check that out, Nick. Yeah, I have to check that out. Hello, Daydreamer Stratus. Good to see you. And 3 Polygon says, I'm too used to the non-texture of the Wacom Intuos 4 XL. Yeah, that's a great tablet. Albert says, I wish they would label their pens as well as their USB connectors. Yeah, absolutely. I wish they did too. Trust me, remember folks, I have 80 tablets and I think I have, I don't know, it's gotta be 70 pens. I think, actually I think I did actually have 70 something, like 77 pens. So it gets hard to find things and that's why I label my things. Goes to the Treasure Large Hall where, okay, actually, you know what's funny, 3 Polygons, on my Discord, I actually did a live session on my Discord where I took my phone and I went around and showed my desks and I showed my hall of tablets. And I actually will do that again, not as a live stream, I'll do it as a recording and show people. I do have quite a bit. Actually, this will be my, let me double check. This is either my 80th tablet or my 81st tablet, okay? So I have a lot of tablets. And I'm not done. By the end of this year, I'm betting I'll have at least 85, if not 90 tablets. I gotta quit buying tablets, honestly. It's getting crazy. Okay, so we talked about the texture here. And then Nick says, first thing I would test is comparing the new sexy analog wheels with the old crappy sensor ones. You're talking about the spinning wheels. Yeah, the old one sucks. I mean, I have always hated the way this feels. And it's accidentally clickable. This is much like accidentally clickable. I will say something, because I know some people have been asking about this. The fact the buttons are on top right now is not irritating me. Okay? And I haven't drawn much yet, but it's not freaking me out right now. Let me get back to, where are my scenes here? Hang on. That's not what I wanted. Oh, I switched it here. Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm back to Krita, and let's just talk about how it feels to draw. Now, this is the same Pro Pen 3. It feels good. I mean, there's no denying it just feels good. I will say that if you're used to Wacom Intuos Pro of the old series, you'll use this and you'll find it very pleasant. It feels very nice. It feels very nice. We can do a few tests. Now I expect these to work essentially perfectly, but it's good to just try the test anyway. I'm gonna just do a horizontal line test. Okay, yeah, so 3 polygons, you've got the right idea here. See these buttons, let me go back to my old overhead. These buttons work for me because in this mode, I don't use the tab like this with the keyboard. I tend to do this, right? So I'm drawing like this and I type here, right? But the large is so large, I mean, the Intuos Pro, the old one, I had to put the keyboard, I actually put the keyboard on top of the tablet. But here, that's not gonna work. And so the question is, when I get the large in, will I have to do this and will I accidentally hit these keys? If I don't accidentally trip these keys, it'll be okay for me. But right now I'm not having, as they say, an allergic reaction to the fact the keys are here. It's not interfering with me, right? Let's try doing, and Nick has suggestions, but I think it's a valid concern, 3 polygons, a very valid concern. Okay, Nick has a comment. Try adjusting brush size with wheel. Does it feel like something you would use now? Okay, let's try it. Now I use a tour box, so I want to be clear that normally I've trained myself to do it. But it's worth testing if it feels better here. Okay, so let me delete, oops, wrong keyboard. Okay, and I'm gonna increase the brush size by hitting. I'm using my hand, okay? Okay, now let's try brush size, I think this one. What? It's not doing what it's supposed to be doing. Let's click the button. Oh, it's layers. Okay. Brush size. Now, let's see. Okay, I'm having fun doing it with the buttons, okay? It feels good. It feels good. It feels premium. It feels natural. There's just enough force to where you feel like you're not going to accidentally move it, but there's not too much force where you feel like you're struggling to move it. The little, I don't know what you call this in industrial design, the little clicks where, it stops, feel good. So it feels premium, I would say, okay? So this I could see working very well. And what was it assigned to? Now, this button that comes up where I change it, then it's layers. That doesn't seem to be working in Krita. I don't know why. Oh, one more thing. Wacom did not promise this, but just to be clear to you, because the Tourbox people know what I'm talking about. This wheel here is not clickable. Like, if you click it, if you try to, it doesn't do anything. It only supports rotation. The Tourbox has a nice feature where you actually make this click and it does something, but that does not happen here. So this does feel nice. This does feel very nice. And what about the left side? That's set to auto scroll, zoom. Okay. Let's go ahead and try it. Oh shit. All right, I clicked one of the buttons. Okay, rotating it like this. So by default, it rotates up and down. I always thought rotation for up and down is a bit weird because I just use the shift key and use the hand, right? Let's see if I can, and let's see if you can rotate, okay. Feels good, rotation feels good. Again, high quality. Now, one thing you may have noticed is that I'm gonna rotate it and I'm gonna do it fast and fast, and then I'm gonna stop. Did you notice what happened? Let me do it again. I'm rotating pretty fast. I let go. So this is not the fault of the tablet, I think. It takes Krita some time, I think, to do the rotation. So, you know, you don't want to like spin it real fast because it'll keep spinning for a little bit. Okay. I mean, the wheel isn't physically spinning. Krita's like, I guess it's still reading the inputs, so it's queued up the rotation. Let's see. Maybe they didn't make the click for durability. Mechanical is already a potential point of failure. Yeah, true. Yeah, zoom is what I would really use this for besides brush size, because that's how I use my Tourbox. In fact, let's try doing that. Let's assign this. Let me close this stupid menu here. Let's see if I can just remember how to assign. I want the right wheel to do size, okay, which it does once I change it to size. And I want the left wheel to do zoom. So what's it assigned to? It's assigned to auto scroll zoom, but I don't want it to. Okay, something has just happened I need to talk about. This may be a problem. You probably notice that these rings, the wheel and the buttons are the same size, right? They're like the size of a large quarter or something. Several times now in this video, I have wanted to move the wheel and I've clicked on the buttons. I've clicked here instead of here. So I think it's probably happened 3 or 4 times now. So I think you're gonna have to be aware of that a little bit and wait until you feel the little texture at the edge of the wheel. Because if you just click on the first circular thing you feel, you're gonna click these buttons. So just be aware of that. Okay, what we wanna do is try to assign this rotation to zoom. And I can't assign it here, so I have to change some settings. I click the bottom button here. What? I don't even know what just happened, honestly. Also, this menu evaporates a little too quickly. I'm sure there's a setting for that. But just as I bring it up and read it, it's disappearing in a second, right? Nick, they are different. They do feel different, but I think in a rush you may not notice, right? I think it's something that, yeah, people will get used to. You just have to be you'll develop a pattern to do this. Okay, how do I get to, I don't even know what this does, honestly. Oh, I see. It brings up the settings. I'm clicking on the bottom express key. and then you click which setting you want. So I want to assign this, so I click there, and I want not auto zoom scroll, I want to change this to zoom, okay? So now I'll click the bottom button here and try it out in Krita. Okay, it works fine. It works fine. Now there's a little bit of lag because that's just Krita, since it takes some time to do its zoom, but it works as you'd expect. The only criticism here is not probably this tablet, but this, you know, where was rotation? Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I clicked the button. I clicked the buttons accidentally. What I want to do, I want to click the middle button. Yeah, and click it again. Okay, now I'm going to rotate it. Now watch what happens. The rotate is pretty smooth, but when I go to zoom, it's not quite as small increments. I don't know if I can control that. The other thing that just happened is I had it on rotate, right? And let me just show what happened. Let's see if I can, I was rotating it, then I clicked it to zoom, and then I did this again. Okay, you know, for a second I thought I just lost the input. I thought I had to click on Krita, but okay, it's working as expected. I have to be honest right now, I think you're going to have to train yourself on this. I find myself accidentally clicking the buttons a bit, like maybe not accidentally, like I'm deliberately trying to press one of the buttons, but I'm pressing the wrong one. So I think it takes a little bit of like mental training to know how this works. I'm just not used to it. Remember, I use a toolbox. And Free Polygon says, oh, you can totally change the zoom steps in Krita. Okay, good to know, thank you. I can specify pixel per step or something, okay. Dermont, I thought it was April 1st. It was. The tablet was supposed to come yesterday, but then FedEx on Friday told me, hey, it's gonna come on April 1st. And then very late last night, I just didn't see it until this morning. They told me it's gonna arrive on Sunday today. So that's why I'm doing a surprise live stream about this. Are there sliders for adjusting each action speed now? Zoom, auto rotate, all kinds of different sensitivity. Wasn't there on 860? I didn't see anything like that, Nick. I can take a look again. Let's click here. There's this. Can you see it? Let's try this. Let's try zooming slow. I'll move it as slow as possible and go back to Krita. I think it changed it a little bit, but it's still zooming in bigger increments that I'd like. Again, I'm not sure what slow means here. Is it sending fewer inputs per second? It's not really changing the the steps. So I think you have to do it, adjust it in Krita to get what you really want. Snoot says, what the fuck? There's a March 31st. I've been bamboozled by my calendar. There is a March 31st, indeed. And indeed, I think we've always had a March 31st for a long time. And Free Polygon says, yeah, the increment is in Krita's preferences. So again, I think you have to do two things. You'll have to change the speed of the dial, so to speak, in Wacom settings. And then you need to change the increments in your app, like Krita. Yeah, I think Patrick has you've got the right summary, Patrick. Thank you for that. Okay, now where was I? I actually want to do a little testing. And the testing was, let's do some like horizontal lines here. Oh, sorry. Let's test for wobble. Number one thing I always look for. Let's see, I want a 45-degree angle. Oh, I don't have my normal thing with me. So I'll keep this at about 45 degrees. And let's just go to a brush. Where is it? I want my fine liner. Make sure that strength doesn't contribute. Size is only pressure. Actually, turn off the pressure control completely. Then set that to 5. Let's take a look what happens. What do I want? I gotta find the pen. Here it is. Wacom Pro Pen 3. Let me move this. I'm gonna confess to you all, I just have never adapted to this radial menu thing. I need to spend more time learning how to use it correctly. It's just not what I expect every time. Okay, 45-degree angle, roughly. Slow stroke. I'll do 3 of these. These are very slow, slower than you'd be drawing for sure. Then a kind of faster stroke. Oops, I zoomed it or panned it accidentally. Let me undo that. Okay. Oh, I did it again. Sorry, that's my fault. I keep clicking. Doing this test, you can accidentally click outside the window and then scroll it. I'm gonna do one more at that speed. And then pretty fast. Let's take a look. Okay, I gotta be honest with you. This stroke has a few artifacts at slow speeds that, like right here. Sorry, I'm drawing. Guess what? I have a pen, I can just draw it now. Right here. You see that? Here's another one. Now, the question is that me? Or is that this tablet? Or is that the ruler? Let's take a look at the faster strokes. Am I still seeing this? A little bit of deviation here. This is acceptable. This is fine. I mean, it's overall good, but again, I have to rule out me as the source of it, okay? Let me go get my normal ruler because this is a special one and we don't know if it's got some slight errors, okay? And I'll do the same test with the Pro Pen 2, Nick. Give me 1 second. I'll be right back with my normal ruler, okay? Turns out my normal ruler was right behind me. So let's try to get this again. Okay. I'm going here. We're gonna do the same test again, okay? And this is the ruler I do every testing with. Then we'll compare it to the PTH-660. Now I'm going to use the Pro Pen 2 because it's the same pen on both, right? 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. Probably I did that a little fast. 1 1000, 2 1000, 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4 1000. I did that a little fast. When it goes fast like this, there should be no weird issues at all. Okay, now let's zoom in and see what happens. Are we seeing anything different? I'm still seeing some wobble. Not a lot. This is just like minor. Now the question is it any different at all in the Pro Pen? Sorry, what do you call it? The Intuos Pro 2017. So I think some of what I saw was the ruler I was using, not the tablet. Not the tablet. So, but here's the test. Here's the test. I've got the Intuos Pro, the old model, with me, and I'm going to plug it into the same computer, and we're going to use the same exact pen. Let me move this tablet away. And then we're going to perform this test live. Let's see, I'm gonna add this. I'm gonna hide these lines, go back to 50% zoom or something like that, and get the Pro Pen 2, which is somewhere in front of me. And we're gonna try the same test. I'll do it in a slightly different color so that it'll be a little easier for you to understand which one's which, okay? I'll do it in like a dark red, okay? Let's just see. Oops, where's my line here? I may need to configure the driver, hang on. Wacom center, or I prefer to use Wacom tablet properties actually. Intuos Pro, look at this. It shows them both with the same name, Intuos in tablet properties. That's not confusing at all. I want mapping to force proportions and to monitor 1. There we go. Okay, now let's try it. Let me zoom over a little bit, pan over. Okay. That one. Where's my Wait, hang on. I set this incorrectly, apparently. I went to the wrong monitor. No, it's the right one. Maybe I clicked the button or something. Okay, I think I know what I did. I clicked the express keys. Oh, God. Wacom tablet properties, mapping. Oh. They're both mapped to the same space. I'm having a problem. It seems like it's not mapping correctly. As if I'm mapping to both. So I'll switch it and see if I can do this again. And while I'm at it, let me disable all the tablet buttons. Oh, this is on the old Intuos Pro, okay? Okay, for some reason, it's the old the tablet driver is mapping this incorrectly. It's mapping it to both monitors. That's why the line is going up, even though I'm drawing at 45 degrees. So I'm gonna just manually correct for that. Let me erase this. Okay, I'm going to be doing it physically at 45 degrees, but you're going to see it go up, which is, we can just deal with that. Personally, and then the fast strokes. What the heck happened? Oh, I pressed the, what a, how do I map it back? I keep switching displays. Mapping 1. Okay, let's try this again. Okay, it's a little bit of a mess. Yeah, and 3 polygons. You have a good question here. If I can get to it. Yeah, I selected one monitor and full screen and it's still not doing that. I can try it again. But let's take a look at the lines so far. Now, they visually are more vertical than I'd like, than is real. I actually moved more 45 degrees. Let's compare the 2 lines. I'm gonna make the Wacom Intuos Pro 2017 lines a little less opaque, okay? And then I'll turn on this line. Now, what do you see? I'll tell you what I see. I actually think the Intuos Pro 2017 has a little less wobble. Just a tiny bit less. You still see it in the 2017, but there's just a tiny bit more. At least, I mean, it's minuscule. I don't think any human would normally notice. I just stare at these things all the time, okay? So it just could be like my eyes or something, but I'm not, and it only seems to be happening at slow speeds. So I think they're comparable. I'll do more testing, so I don't think there's any drastic change in quality, okay? And let's take a look at some of the questions here. 3 polygons, yeah, I always do this in Krita, since everyone has Krita and it's for free. And I was using the Pro Pen 2 because I want to use the same pen on both tablets. But you have a great point. Let's use the Pro Pen 3. Now, I'm not expecting a difference, but it's worth our time to verify that, okay? So let's move this tablet out of the way. I unplugged it. And then we'll use the Pro Pen 3 pencil. Okay, and where's my ruler? Yeah, okay, there we go. Well, that's interesting. I clicked on the wrong button again. Now I've got the hang of this. Now let's zoom in and take a look. Okay, you tell me, how many of you notice a little bit of, a few little indentations there? Very tiny. I think I would still call this professional quality, but right now I feel like it's slightly a little different than what I'm used to with the 2017 model. It just could be my eyes right now. But in either case, both are good. So there's no problem with this tablet. Both are fine. And this was, yeah, with the Pro Pen 3, the newest one. Okay, let's take a look at the comments. Okay, it looks like Continuous says you can notice it a little bit. And I agree, 3 polygon, that seems to be a little bit better, the Pro Pen 3. I'll continue doing my testing, right? I mean, this is just a live stream. I mean, I'll have to sit down and spend some hours with this tablet. But Albert, you raise a good point here, which is that it looks good until I zoomed in, right? Like when I think about having an excellent amount of diagonal wobble, really low, I would say that a normal person, even if there is wobble, it should be like visually indistinguishable from a true perfect line, right? Like you'd have a hard time telling. And I feel like I can see it here. Though again, as you go with faster strokes, like these, this is what I'd call, you'd have to like ask yourself, it looks perfect, right? And 3 polygons has I'm a bit anxious though that the mapping is doing to 2 monitors, so projection can be affected somehow. It's possible. I can try it again just to see. And now again, that's only affecting the Intuos Pro 2017. By the way, these names are driving me crazy because it's hard for me to say Intuos Pro 2017, Intuos Pro 2025. It's like, it's a real mouthful to get through as I talk about both tablets simultaneously. I'm going to unplug the Intuos Pro 2025. I'll actually use the same cable with the Intuos Pro 2017. And I'll move this out of the way. And I'm going to try the same actual test, of course, with the Pro Pen 2 and ruler. Let me try correcting Wacom tablet properties. Come on, why is it not clicking? That's weird, I can't click on that. What the heck? There we go, clicked with my actual pen. Mapping. So I clicked full, right? And it's moving across both. Then I clicked the monitor 1 and it's moving across the 1. Now it seems to be working correctly. Let's delete this. Try it again. Am I crazy? Like, let me find something circular. Because I feel like I'm not doing something correct. Okay, I'm tracing out a circular object. What do you see? That's obviously wrong, right? And yet everyone can see I have tablet properties here. And the mapping for the Pro Pen 2 says force proportion monitor 1. What do we do when we get a problem like this? Let's restart Krita. And Patrick, you're right. Krita, lots of apps, Krita included, can get confused by having a tablet switch. Oh, why is this Discord overlay coming up? Like, why? Okay, let's see if this works again. Okay, this is correct. This is correct. Right? It's a correct circle. And then let me just do the test one more time just to verify things are not crazy. There we go. I would call that line incredibly good, indistinguishable from a perfectly drawn line. And this is with the Intuos Pro 2017. If I zoom in, you'll see a few things. So I would say these tablets are comparable in diagonal wobble. I'd have to do more testing to see if the 2025 has that a little bit more. I think the initial little bumps I saw were from the ruler, okay? Okay, but these are good. This is like, these are the, this is the best tablet on the market. So this is what you'd expect. And I don't think anyone does better than this tablet, okay? Okay, let's see, people wanted me to test a few other things. Let's just go ahead and look at my questions here. 1 second. I had some requests from people, so I'm going to show the requests. Atna says, I want slow motion capture of latency, wired versus non-wired. That's a lot to do right now. I'll probably do that when I do my actual review. Leif says, heavily test those upper express keys, see if they're comfortable. So far, I'm okay with them. I would say that it's going to take some adjustment to use them. In the medium size, they did not get in my way. But in the large size, I think for me, that's the real test. And then we did Mihaw's, I think we did Mihaw's test. Get the PTK-670 alongside, check the line quality. Similar, honestly, I felt like the old model had slightly less diagonal wobble, but I need to do more investigation, okay? So I think it's similar, it's very similar. But I just want to do a couple more tests to verify. But right now, I think we can say, basically, if I saw a difference, it's within the bounds of a variance, right? It's a normal amount of variance. I have accidentally clicked on them often. You mean the buttons? And then Dermond asked how thin it is. It is very thin. Are the wheels smooth or clicky? They are clicky. Texture sheet. I didn't get a texture sheet, unfortunately. Let's just check Wacom's site and see if a texture sheet is available. I don't know. I actually don't know. Let's type it here. Wacom.com. Store. I guess accessories, right? Let me type in the word sheet. How's that? So I see several texture sheets here. Several for medium and large. And they have these are the older ones, you can see the buttons, but these don't. So this must be the new ones, I'm guessing. Let's take a look. This is for the Intuos Pro Standard Texture Sheet Medium, $30. Is there a photo of this thing? Well, it's a black object. I'm trying to zoom in here. There's some kind of thing on the left. I'm not sure what that is. Now, do they actually have it in the store? I didn't order it. I can, obviously. Let me search for it again. Can I actually just put it in the cart? I didn't see. They should label this more clearly. It's not obvious what's going on here. Medium, $30. Well, apparently, they are in stock and you can't add them. So I'll order a couple tonight and see, right? And I'll actually replace the texture sheet at some point. It does it does in fact look like the monolith in Space Odyssey. What was the monolith? 16 by 9? Is that, no. Yeah, 16 by 9 by 1, right? So this is 16 by 9. So it does have the correct proportions, okay? Oh, look, Patrick actually ordered one. Fantastic. I have to be honest, I'm really excited with the texture. I think, okay, let me back up a little bit because we've been diving deep on the pressure performance and all that. And we'll do a few more tests, but right now, I think people will like this tablet. Now, if you absolutely hate the buttons on top, yeah. But I can't wait to use this as my primary tablet, honestly. I think this is a good one. Now, I think the question comes, do we really think that this tablet is it worth the cost? So it costs the same as the old one. The new pen, the new pen is more expensive, but you can use it with the old pen too. I think this is a safe purchase, honestly. Unless you just know you have a problem with the buttons, I think it's a very safe purchase. I think when you pick it up, so when I picked up the Wacom Moving 13, it just felt so different because it's so light. And I think you're gonna have that feeling about this. You're gonna feel like the Moving for me was like, oh, it felt like a different kind of device. And that's the way I feel about this right now. It feels like a different kind of device. And another thing that struck me is, I was afraid that if they cut the weight down quite a bit, right? I was afraid it would be so thin that, not just thin, but thin and light, that it would feel like cheap. But actually, it feels pretty straight. I'm not gonna try to bend it and hurt it, but I will. There's a slight bit of flex. I'm sure I could bend it, honestly. With the Intuos, is it more or less than this? That's interesting. Let me try. I'm trying to bend it. It flexes a little bit more. I wouldn't try it. Let's see, Nizio has a. Hey, I don't know if I missed it. Were you able to compare it to the XP Pen Deco Gen 2? I didn't compare. Give me a second. I'll go get the Deco 2 and we'll compare it in some basic ways, okay? 1 second. Okay, a couple of questions here. One is, with the lower weight, are there any issues with it slipping around your desk if your hand pushes it side? Well, let's try it. Let's get my hand ready. Okay, so first of all, if you're touching the top, right, it's not going anywhere, okay? It's, let me show you the overhead just so it's clear what I am actually doing in this sense. If you're doing this, nothing's happening. Like, I'm pushing it pretty hard. You saw it move for a second. I'll talk about what happened there. but no lateral motion on the surface. Like you can press hard on it and try to, it's not gonna go anywhere, okay? If you press it here, yeah, of course it'll move. Now the question is, does it move more or less than the Intuos Pro, the old version? Now remember, it's half as heavy, so this is going nowhere. This is heavier, and I feel like this, these rubber feet, we didn't take a look at the back. They provide a lot of grip. So it is harder to move this tablet, even if you're pressing the side. Like, again, part of that's the weight. For this tablet, let's take a look at the back. It's still got rubber feet on the back. They're not as wide though. I mean, they're not as thick. They go the same basic distance. They're just not quite as thick. So this one will move easier, but you have to try to move it. And I think unless you're bumping it a lot, you shouldn't experience it moving, okay? And yeah, 3 Polygons has glue the tablet, nice. Okay, let me show you, just so everyone understands. Again, for tablet testing purposes, because I to fit my scale, I got the Deco Pro MW Gen 2, okay? So let's take a look at this and close this. Okay, this tablet is almost the exact size of the Wacom, physically. It's only, whereas the Wacom has the buttons on top, this has a little extra bezel that slopes down. The active area is almost the same actually. It's almost the same, but those are physical attributes. Let me talk about the drawing performance. So in my experience with the Deco Pro Gen 2 series, and I have a couple of them, there's just a tiny bit of extra pointer lag, okay? I think a normal artist would not notice this. You'd have to be like an OSU player, maybe, and they might notice. You'd have to have used the tablet for a very, very long time. If you're moving from a Wacom Intuos Pro to a Deco Pro Gen 2, you might notice just a little extra pointer lag. The feeling I say that it brings is like it's floaty. It just floats a little bit more, right? Because it has some more pointer smoothing. The other thing I noticed with the Deco Pro Gen 2, and I'll show you this with the XLW model, right? Hang on one second. Oh, I gotta find my dock site here, and I gotta show you what I'm showing. So give me a second. Okay, we're gonna go to my dock site. Docs, the 7 pens. Okay, so if I go here, let me just try and search for XLW. Now, again, this is the very large size, but we'll take a look at the the diagonal wobble. And it's not so obvious here. I think that this model has just a tiny bit of diagonal wobble more than the Deco Pro. And a little bit of smoothing gets rid of it. Let's see if I can bring up my notes on this tablet actually. Oh, I closed the docs. Here we go. Diagonal wobble. Yeah, so as I noted here, it has a little bit more than the PTK-670. But when you're really drawing, you don't notice it. This amount of diagonal wobble is something you have to try to look for. Like you'd have to hunt for it. So it's not bad, right? Again, but Nizia, this is the MW. This is the MW. This is the smallest of the Deco Pro Gen 2, okay? And again, it's the Deco Pro Gen 2, not the Deco Gen 2. So Now let's compare actually the way it feels. I'll use the Pro Pen 3 on both of them. Let me show you what I'm doing. The Deco Pro Gen 2 service with this nib, this is the Pro Pen 3, feels a little scratchier, a little noisier. And actually I want to talk about that noise. I like that this is quieter because I get irritated with the sound of the pen moving on the tablet. So this is quieter than this. And then even the Intuos Pro, the older series. Other than that, I really like the Deco Pro Gen 2 is really good. Now I'll do a real comparison, but those are two things that stood out in my so far. It's the diagonal wobble and a little bit of pointer lag, okay? Let's see. And then 3 Polygons has a comment. I noticed from Wacom XL Huion Campus 22 has slightly more lag. Yeah, it's pretty typical for non-Wacom tablets to have a slightly more lag. And the reason we think that's happening is because they are adding some pointer smoothing, some position smoothing to help deal with the noise that's in their tablets, right? Like electrical noise. Okay, anything else I should try? Or where was I before? Someone asked me if something glows or there's a light here. Let me find that comment. Someone asked it, I can't remember. People ask me if anything lights up, and something does light up actually. So let me go to a different overhead. Sorry, you get to see two of me right now. Let's zoom. Okay. This is not light, that's just where the corner of the active area is. This is an actual light. And when you unplug it, it's blinking. I think this also talks about Bluetooth and the battery, because when I first plugged it in, this light went, that color, this orange color for a bit. So I'm not sure what that exactly means. I think it means it's charging or something, but it did, or maybe the Bluetooth is not connected, but that's the only light there is. It's not especially bright. Like, I know some of you think these lights on devices, like these blue lights are too much. I don't think it's very bright at all. So I don't think you're gonna mind it. Let's see, 3 Polygons says, I believe someone asked if the controls glow on the tablet. Nothing glows. These dots are not, they're, what do you say, paint? Not paint. You can't rub it off, but they don't glow. If I cover it up, you see this dot, it just kind of disappears. You don't see it glowing. Only the red thing glows, right? So other than that, it looks fine. Okay, let me tell you my personal take on just using this tablet. I was nervous. You know, I'm very happy with the Intuos Pro 2017. I ordered this tablet. I'm going to order the other two. I am going to start using these as my primary tablets, right? Now I want to say, and I'm going to do some more tests, but I just want to say this. Is it a worthy upgrade? If you have an Intuos Pro 2017, I don't see here anything that would be like, hey, that you have to upgrade to this. I would say you can just wait. There's nothing happening here which is revolutionary or going to change your mind about how the tablet works or make you feel like it draws better, honestly. It is a fantastic tablet. When I think about the Intuos Pro 2017 line, I think about this tablet as being refining the features that weren't about drawing, right? Like, is the pen any better? No. Is the tablet surface any better? Yeah, it's a little, I mean, it's different. It's a little better. Are the buttons better? We don't know yet. But if you're satisfied with the way your tablet works, I think you should hang on to it, okay? And the only reason I would say that you should ever get this tablet, if you like your tablet that you have now, is you really aren't happy with your tablet or it's broken, then upgrade. But other than that, I think this is really for new purchasers, people who, it's going to be their first pro tablet. I think it'll make a fine pro tablet. It feels premium, it looks premium. I think if you want to start learning these buttons, you're gonna have to take some time, okay? You're gonna have to take some time, because I can tell you already, like, it's kind of confusing to me what to press. Now, I was never a big button user of the old Wacom Intuos Pros, but having two, wheels and two of these ring buttons, it kind of like still confuses my mind. Part of that's just due because I also am adapted to the toolbox, okay? The other reason why this tablet is interesting is Wacom eventually drops driver support from its tablets. Now, if I understand correctly, they dropped the PTK-670 series. I don't know if they dropped the X51 series, but they seem to do things like that, roughly speaking, every 10 years, a little bit over maybe. So I think you can skip this one if you're happy. If you're new, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. And 3Polygon says, I see myself disabling those buttons in the utility and buying a remote. Yeah, look, I'm not gonna lie to you. When I use this tablet, I will spend a month trying to learn the buttons, okay? But in reality, I will do what I always do. I will use my toolbox device, okay? Because that's my way of drawing. It's my favorite remote to use, right? Now, the other thing I wanted to try is the quality of the consumer pens, because Wacom says you can use the old pens, these consumer pens with them. And we're gonna test them out. I have complained about these pens multiple times, but let's just see if they work okay. So I'm picking now, we already tried the Pro Pen too, but that's a Pro Pen, obviously. We're gonna try the CP913, which comes with the Wacom one in 2019. So let's give you, not this, but yeah, this. Okay, does it seem like a good pen? This is not pressure sensitive right now. Oops, oops, oops. Thank you. I guess my tape solution isn't the best, huh? Okay, I think you should be able to hear me now. And while I'm waiting for people to tell me that, yeah, I love the toolbox. I love the toolbox, right? So what I was gonna say was, we're gonna test out these consumer pens, right? So let's go and try this, what is this called? I forgot what this pen is actually called. Ink 3G pen, I believe. Let's check the settings. We'll turn off strength for size. We'll go to pressure, null pressure curve, nothing else. Okay, let's see what happens. And we'll make the brush big. Whoa, where's the... That's weird. Oh, I see. Sorry, I thought that I lost track of the pen. Oh, it actually was able to pick up my voice even on the floor. Well, I'm glad that worked. Okay, I'm making the brush bigger. I'm actually trying to use the Intuos. I don't know why the wheel is not working. Did I disable the buttons? Hang on. Express keys. Oh, I must have disabled the button somehow. Weird. Okay. It feels good to draw. Hell, let me go and try a bigger brush here. Let's see what happens. I'm making a huge brush. It's like almost 400 pixels. Now this pen has a high IF. Actually, it's working out pretty good. It's actually doing a better job than I expected. This brush is 600 pixels, so it should pick up problems. The stroke isn't probably quite as good as the Pro Pen 2, which I'm going to pick up in a sec, or Pro Pen 3. Let's try it again. That's messed up. Now, why is this messed up? I gotta think about this one. Why does that look this way? Anyone want to tell me why? I'm actually asking, I don't know why this pen behaves this way and why this cheap consumer pen behaves this way. Oh, maybe it's just I didn't catch up. Okay. So this weird look is actually normal when you get a brush like this that's like 600 pixels big, because pens are a little hypersensitive but at low pressure, but this is fine. So what's the lesson here? And I'm going to try the CP923, okay? Now I don't like this pen, by the way. It's just a terrible pen, but it works. So the reason I bring up these pens is these pens cost like $30. And so if you ever lose your pen, your Pro Pen 3, the worst case, you can get one of these cheaper consumer pens and use it. Now I have to thank Wacom for this, because at least it gives people an option. And so if you get this tablet, because this pen costs $130, the Pro Pen 3, I'd suggest you spend another $30 and buy an extra CP913 or 923, right? And it will just work. And do both buttons work? Yep. For the 923, both buttons work. So that's good. Let's try the grip pen. Again, this is normal with such a crazy brush. This is what a normal brush would look like 70 pixels. And then the art pen. I'm satisfied, actually, I'm satisfied. I'll do more testing though with these consumer pens, because the consumer pens tend to have a problem when, like on the Move Ink, these don't perform as well as on this one. So I just want to double check that, like, you know, it's happening correctly. Let me take a look and, oh, what the heck did I just do here? I only had basic smoothing on, so I didn't have weighted smoothing, so that shouldn't have made things better. Yeah, you know what, this is great, $30 for this pen, the CP913 or 923, so use it as a backup. Adola Fun, thank you for joining us. So the tablet's good. I think this is the new stand. If you get a new tablet, this is the one to get. I wouldn't necessarily say upgrade to this. So yeah, I think 3 polygon summarizes it best. There's no real advantage. Like, if you really want to use the buttons, great. But I don't know of anyone who's like really wanting to switch over to the new buttons. It's not that big a deal. Now, Oki says, I'm upgrading to this from the launch day Intuos 4 large. Yeah, this is an upgrade. This is an upgrade, honestly. Like, so for folks who don't know, the Intuos 4s are like really thick, and I mean, they're huge also, just their size. You will feel like you're using a very special device, Oki, if you switch this tablet, guaranteed. And it definitely represents an upgrade. And Oki says, they need to start making the Art Pen again. I use both it and Classic Pen. The default broke. Yeah, so I think I bought this Art Pen for $100-something on eBay. They're getting real expensive. I think I saw one for like $200-something. I hope Wacom does it. You know, with Apple Pencil Pro now has barrel rotation, so I'm hoping that motivates Wacom to add barrel rotation. Let's see. Is the buttons on the tablet awkward as it looks? Actually, I would say it's awkward, Medola. What I noticed is they feel premium, number one. I haven't accidentally clicked on them, but I have, because they're, you know, basically you have 4 circles, right? I have accidentally clicked on the wrong circle, the wrong control. I meant to do it, to click on something, but I just clicked on the wrong one. I think it's going to take a little bit of mental training for someone to like know exactly how to click, right? And one of the things going on here is that these, especially the buttons with the 4 arrow directions, these aren't really raised for the tablet of the surface too much. So you can feel the raise, but like you might confuse it for the other scroll wheel, right? So you might press the wrong one. Oki says, I have the 2017 for laptop. We use surprise field. Yeah, the space difference is really different. Since Medola just joined us, let's just show everyone again the space difference. Let me zoom out here. Look at the difference in size, right? Like it's kind of amazing. And what we saw was that this Intuos Pro 2025 actually has more active area than the old version. So it's a win-win in terms of like, you didn't lose anything by getting a smaller tablet. Again, this thing feels really premium. I think it pairs well with the moving in terms of like the industrial design. It is very well designed. I will say if you use this tablet, it sets a new bar, right? I've talked many times about the XP Deco Pro Gen 2 and how elegant they are, and they still are elegant, but Wacom seems to be going hard on super light, super thin tablets, and it makes a difference. I mean, at least it feels good. Doesn't change drawing performance at all, but it feels really nice. Zephyrus Prime, is Pro Pen 3 an upgrade from 2? Honestly, I don't think so. I think the maximum pressure goes a little bit less, about 50 to 100 grams less. Not a big change, so that's a little bit of a downgrade. People say it works better with tilt because there's less obstruction in the way for tilt, but I don't think that's a big deal. And the Pro Pen 3 is $130 versus the Pro Pen 2 is $80. Some people say they can notice a difference in the Pro Pen 3. I think if there is a difference, it's incredibly subtle, right? In fact, so much so that I normally accidentally picked up the Pro Pen 2 when I meant to pick up the Pro Pen 3. If Apple makes a 16-inch iPad Pro with this Pencil Pro, then that might be my endgame. Well, Continua, I'm glad you asked that because, hang on. We've got some things to talk about. Give me a second. Let me get there in the Reddit. You know, a bunch of us, and increasingly more people, watch, what do we call it? We watch the FCC sites. I was about to say FAA sites. Let's see, Wacom, okay. Here we go. Let's see, I answered a question for somebody here. Hang on. Let me change this to new. Because there's a specific thing I want to, here it is, there we go. Okay, so someone pointed out on the FCC website there are new ideas for several products, and one is this HV4DTHA116. Now, that's like a model name that's used on the FCC site. The Wacom model number look a little different. So they asked about this, and I actually answered, which is, we think there's a new Wacom standalone tablet coming out, model number DTH-A116, okay? And we think this is an Android-based tablet, basically a successor to this tablet, the Cintiq Companion Hybrid. Now, why do we think that? So first of all, we looked at the model number. The H stands for touch, right? The A stands for Android, because this other Cintiq Companion Hybrid is model numbers DTH A1300. And of course, the 16 means, and 116 means 16 inches. So we think there is a new Wacom standalone tablet coming. And I would assume it will use the Pro Pen 2, Pro Pen 3, and be compatible with all the Pro Pens, right? So that, I think, is coming. But I will say, you know, as Continue points out, if Apple makes a 16-inch iPad Pro, I think a lot of people would go there. I think that would be the, I actually like the way Continue Comics said it. That might be my end game, because at that time, if you like the Apple ecosystem, like you like Procreate, I'm not sure why you'd get a Wacom device, right? What would you need it for when you have a great pen, you have a great device, and a great ecosystem? That's a complete package. So I don't think Apple will ever do that, a 16-inch iPad, but it'd be interesting if they did. And certainly, I think a lot of artists would, they'd get that, and that would be it, right? Let's see, BitMajor says, if I have enough money, I'll buy both L and M and put M under L sideways, draw on L and use the... Okay, let me see, make sure I understand. You want, let's say this is the large, and you want to do this. Make sure I understand, okay. You want the large this way, but you want like this? So use these buttons on the left. Tell me if I understood you correctly. It's pretty funny. Let's see. I believe Pro Pen 3 has an extra pen side button. It does. It does. I can show that to people. The Pro Pen 3 can have up to 3. Can you see it? Let me move this comment out of the way here. There's actually, I don't know if this thing is actually going to be able to focus on something so small. Let me. See the 3 buttons there? Actually, you know what? I got a better idea. I'll show the 3 buttons, all right. Hang on. Move this to the bank. Yeah, here we go. So there's wires everywhere. And there's the 3. This is so hard to do because I need 3 hands, okay? Yeah, you can see the 3 buttons now, I think, right? Whereas the 2 buttons of the Wacom Pro Pen 2. Okay, let's see, any other questions? Sorry, let me go backward, 3 pens. There's a question about the OLEDs. Yeah, I think I would expect an OLED, right? Don't get me wrong, it's not gonna be cheap. Let's put it this way, if the Move-Ink costs $800 or $750 and it's 13 inches, it's not even standalone. Can you imagine what a standalone 16-inch would cost from Wacom, right? I think it would be $2,500, right? And yeah, I think it would be an OLED, because I think they're trying to distinguish. They have to differentiate themselves from other drawing tablets, and so going OLED is one way of doing that. Three polygons. I don't know if there are Wacom remotes. I mean, they have some remote thing, but they never mentioned that with this, right? So I'm not sure if that's intended to be used with this or not, because it's the older one I saw. I don't like it. I like using a TurboBox myself. Ink Blaster says, I hope it's high refresh rate. Yeah, it needs to have that too. I think it would have to be 120 hertz, honestly. Bidmejo says, I really hope Wacom would make an updated remote too. I think that'd be a great idea. I've long advocated that one of the ways Wacom can maybe make more value for their customers is by getting a TurboBox-like device, right? It doesn't have to be exactly a TurboBox, but like something, maybe they should buy the TurboBox company, but something that goes along with it so that you get like the truly premium experience. Let's see. Okay, this is a good question. Does it bother me that the tablet has no bezels? Well, let me play around a little bit more. Let me tell you how I feel about it. Okay, so first of all, let's just compare the bezel size. Let's talk about the right bezel, okay? The right bezel is like, it's, I'm trying to find a ruler. I know I have a ruler here somewhere. Here we go. The right bezel side is what? 9 centimeters. Here it's 5 centimeters. And here on the Wacom Intuos Pro 2025, it's 1 centimeter instead of 9 on the right, and a little bit more than 1 centimeter on the left instead of 5 centimeters. Now, the benefit, I used to be an anti-bevel guy, but I've been thinking about it more and I've come around to bevels, okay? I like the idea that you can take your hand and keep it here and draw here. You get what I'm saying? Right? I like the idea that you can draw toward, not all the way in the edge, but you can keep your hand here and it's not sliding off. With this new tablet, your hand is going to be off. There's no way to draw right here without your hand slipping off. Here's why I think it might be okay. This tablet is not thick, right? If this was like half an inch thick, then I would feel weird. But like when your hand moves off, the fatty part, I don't know anatomy. What is the fatty pad here of a hand called? It will just slide onto the desk. So I'm not bothered by the bevel. The bevel also isn't sharp. You can feel it, but it's not irritating. It doesn't feel like it's cutting into my wrist, the little bone here, no problem there. And if I'm left-handed, same thing. I don't think it's gonna be a problem for people because it's so thin. If it was a thick device, yeah, I think the bevel would be a problem. But it's thin, so it's like you don't notice it. Is the Move Ink worth it? That's a good question. Medola, I think the Move Ink is worth it if you need to be drawing in a mobile way, meaning in different offices or places all the time. I think if you're just wanting a 13-inch pen display, it's probably not worth it. But if you're mobile a lot and you're drawing on the go, then yeah, it's actually very worth it. Let's see, Farda Ventura says, I bought an Intuos Pro 20 a month ago. Do you think I should send it back? Do you think I should send it? Oh, that's a good question. I don't know. I think that tablet will last you forever. I think the drawing quality is just as good. Okay, here's an interesting question. If you could return it for free and just exchange it for this, if it's your first tablet, yeah, I'd say do it. If you upgraded to it from another, and you already have experience with the tablet, then I'd probably just say stay with what you have. Continuum mentions there is the Toolbox Lite. I've tried it. I didn't like it. It has less buttons, and I use those buttons to do things. So it wasn't working for me. Great device, but like I have customized it so much for my use of Clip Studio Paint. Using the Lite is just like it won't fit my needs. Let's see, a perfectly normal internet user says, I'd argue against consolidation and let Toolbox be its own to ensure, what's this comment here? Wacom never owns too much. I gotta fix how these comments scale. For some reason they're getting super long. For reasons I just don't know. Let me get that comment back up. And let Toolbox be on its own and ensure Wacom never owns too much of the tablet market. Yeah, it's a great point. A perfectly normal internet user. If they were to own Toolbox, they'd make it proprietary to Wacom. Like it would only work with Wacom, and that would suck. But that would not be good, right? So your point is well taken. What kind of nibs does the Pro Pen 3 come with? Did I get nibs? Oh. Guess what? We didn't talk about this. So let's take a look. This is the new stand, by the way. Now, I've gone on record about how much I hate the old stand. There are nibs inside. This says that. Let me take it out of this silly. I'm not even sure how to take it out of here without tearing it. Okay, I think I got it out. So this is the bottom of the stand, this is the top. This feels nice, okay. It's easier to unlock than the old Pro Pen 2 stupid pen stand. And there are nibs here. Let's see. I gotta zoom in on this one. Okay. You gotta see what I'm seeing. It's a bit wild. Hang on. Why is it not focusing? Yeah, let me try some more light here. Maybe that's what the reason is. Okay, do you see that? Two of these, so there's these 3 black plastic nibs. then two of these nibs with these weird tips. Now, what are these weird tips? I'm sorry, I put the camera down. You know, maybe I should get my my little microscope thing here. What the hell is that? It's like a nib with a little extra plastic thing on them. Are those supposed to come off? I don't think so, but no, they're on there. They're not coming off. Here's a normal nib. I guess I'm just surprised that they're clear, right? So I don't know the difference between these two. And then where's the case here? Let's find the other nib. My nibs are now all over the place. Hang on. I don't like this new packaging, to be quite honest. Okay, and then these nibs are here. They have gray tips. I'm not sure. Let me take one of each, and you can see how they're different. Oh, sorry. The nibs are rolling off the tablet here. Okay. So the one on the bottom is a little more gray, the body. Neither one of these look like felt, so I'm not sure what's going on. They all look like plastic, which surprises me. I expected some felt nibs. Now maybe I'm just not seeing these nibs correctly. But they all feel like plastic. And I'm not sure why some of them have this little helmet on them. Let me go back to the overhead, because these nibs just flew everywhere. So putting them back in the case. There's a little nib remover there. And let's put this back in. How well does this work as a stand? Okay, easier to close. Thank you, Wacom. Okay, where's my Pro Pen 3? And then you put the bottom in. Okay, this is weird. You would think that this goes in like deep. It doesn't. I swear to you. So there's like a hole here and there's an inner hole. I swear this does not go in the inner hole. Like just a millimeter. It's, okay, maybe I am misunderstanding how this works, but I'll tell you right now, okay, maybe I should do it this way. Okay, it's meant to go this way. So it looks like this. What do you think? Now, by the way, this is not heavily weighted either. So this base can be moved easily, and the pen can be knocked over out of it pretty easily. Not super impressed, but it's better than the old one, that's for sure. And yeah, I didn't see any rubber or felt nibs. In 3 polygons says, and me watching this with an XL with 5 fingers beveled on one side, 3 fingers others. Hey, I hear you. You know, I have my Intuos 4XL. I drew on it for over a year, and it was so big. How can I say this? I actually just used it like a desktop surface. I would put coffee on it and drink. I would put plates on it and eat my lunch. It's just because it's so heavy to move. So I totally understand that. Thank you. Is the USB-C socket swappable with L-type? It should be. It should be. In fact, if you want, give me a second. I'll go prove that. 1 second. I'll be right back. Okay, so the question was, is the cable swappable with the L-type cable? And the answer is yes, I have an L-type cable here. This is from the Intuos Pro 2017. You can see the L connector there. Let me undo this briefly. Well, verify it. This is what these streams are for, to help answer these kind of very practical questions, right? So I'm going to unplug the cable it came with. By the way, this cable sticks in there pretty nicely. It's harder to remove than you'd think. And then this is a Wacom brand cable. And I'm gonna we will verify this. And I think the answer is yes. Because I use third-party cables with all my tablets instead of the ones they come with all the time. So let's plug it in. Oops, I lost a nib. Does it power up? It does power. And does the pen work? Now you can't see it, but yeah, pen works fine. So the L cable that came with the 2017 works with the 2025, right? So no problems there. Let's see, Kami Luna, thanks for joining us. I have a Toolbox Lite because it was the most affordable. I do wish more buttons. I don't want to upgrade until the Elite has it. Hey, that's a great point. It's got to have that, right? And it's an expensive device. Even the Lite one is expensive. So it's got to do more, right? It's got to do more. That looks like a nib with the Ethernet cable cover. Yeah, it actually did look like that. I'm gonna try removing that again. It looks like it's removable, or you're supposed to, but it doesn't make any. It's so weird. It is on there tight. It's hard to remove. Like I could not move it a bit. Aren't these a tad long? Are you talking about the cable or the nibs? 3 polygons. Yeah, the pen is gonna fly. It's definitely gonna fly out of that thing. Swimming pool, yeah. You gotta try drawing with a transparent helmet nib. I gotta ask Wacom what is up with that. It's so weird looking, Seb. Okay, any other questions or things you'd like me to try? Because I think, if there's any more questions as well, we can just answer them. The nibs. I don't think they're too long. Let's show you this. Here's, these nibs are gonna go flying. But here's one nib. This is from the Pro Pen. And let me get the Pro Pen 2 nib. And I'll use the nib remover. Wacom finally went back to these little nib remover rings instead of a hole in the pen stand. Genius. Okay, so you can see it yourself. The nibs are quite different in terms of size. I mean, really quite different. Let's go ahead and zoom in on this. Right? Like the Pro Pen 3 nibs are much thinner and they're a little bit shorter. The Pro Pen 2 nibs they don't have this like head. They just are thicker and they stick out a bit more. I'm not sure if this means any difference in terms of durability or lifetime. I certainly haven't noticed any difference when I'm drawing with either one. But that's the difference in the nibs. Let me put this back in there. I'll put this back in the Pro Pen. Oh, this is actually My mistake, that was the grip pen. I'll show you the Pro Pen in a second. My mistake, my mistake. This is the Pro Pen. Maybe I am stupid. Pro Pen on the bottom, new nib on top. Is there a difference? Pro Pen 2 on the bottom. Is there a difference? Let's take a look. Yeah, the head's different. I think they're slightly different sizes. And what we can do is, just because this comes up every now and then, people ask me, can you swap the nibs between the two? I think I tried this, but I'm not sure, so I'll just tell you. So here's the Pro Pen 3 nib in the Pro Pen 2. What happens? It goes in, and you can't see the mouse move, but it actually works. And I can actually draw and create on everything. That's weird, that was unexpected. And then but it sticks out a bit more. You can probably see it's like, this nib sticks out a bit further than you'd expect. Now the Pro Pen 2 nib in the Pro Pen 3, on the other hand, let's see what happens there. It's harder to get out, I'll tell you that. Okay. Does it work? It goes in. Can I draw? Huh. I'm not sure this is intended, but it seems like I can swap the nibs. Maybe that's useful for someone, I don't know. I've never done that before. So let me get back to normal here. Get the Pro Pen 3 nib back in the Pro Pen 3. And the Pro Pen 2 nib back in the Pro Pen 2. The helmet could be to avoid the tip getting inside when falling. I think you might be right about the 3 polygons. I think that might be the purpose. I just can't figure out why it's transparent to make me realize. I mean, it's just weird that it looks like a separate piece. Is there a rubber nib that comes with it? None of these feel like rubber. They all felt like plastic to me. And none of them were felt, as far as I could tell. Okay, I've heard you can use uncooked spaghetti as nibs. Haven't tried. Seb, I think the consensus is people should not try that. And the reason is, obviously, if there's any water around, there could be a problem. Number 2, the spaghetti is more, it can be fractured easy compared to a nib. So I think we're all afraid that it would fracture and like you wouldn't be able to remove it, or a small piece would get stuck in there. That's why I don't recommend it. Zach Lax Rhythm says, curious to know more about the scroll wheels. Have been running CTH480 for years. Good tablet. Occasionally use touch. Thanks for all the work for this review. Thank you so much, Zach. First of all, as you know, this has no touch. Second, I think you joined us just recently on the stream. We talked about the scroll wheels, and I will say they feel good. They feel very good. Sorry, you can't see the scroll wheels. They feel very good. They don't feel like they'll move with the slightest touch, so you're not afraid of touching them. But they also don't feel like they require too much pressure, so they're easy to move. And also, you can't hear it, but as you move, it doesn't freely rotate. It says click. It has clicks, stops, right? And it makes a very slight audible clicking sound. Not loud. You can probably feel it more than you can click it, but I like it. And one is mapped to like a scroll, and the other is mapped to like brush size. So I do like the addition. I think the question is, are people going to be able to handle these on top of the tablet? Because lots of people seem to not like this arrangement. I think it's okay. I think it might be more difficult for me with a large tablet because I have to reach for my keyboard and I'm afraid that I reach, I'm going to touch these, right? The other thing that I noticed about these are, we have 4 circular things here actually. And it's easy to feel one and think you feel like, a couple of times I thought I was clicking this one, moving it left and right, but I clicked here on this thing, right? So it's going to take some training that might take weeks or a month for people to just figure out, get the intuitive sense of what these buttons are and what they're doing. Let's see, Oki says the only pad with compatible nibs is when you're that person who buys nibs from a random Amazon seller and can't tell if they're legitimate for your pen or an older model. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Okay, and I think we've covered most of the things. Look, again, this tablet is great. The question is, should you upgrade? And I think if you got a 2017 model, you're probably not going to get a lot of an upgrade. If this is your first Pro tablet, it's a great tablet. If you're just bored and have money to burn, get it, right? I'm going to get all 3 of them. Let's see. If this is your first Pro tablet, I think you'd love this. Just from an industrial design sense, I think this is a winner. It is a winner. Everything about it feels just really premium. It's very premium. And I didn't get a chance to try the Bluetooth because it's kind of complicated in the setup. But I think I answered everyone's questions. And I think you'll like it. Okay, I'll just wait for a few more minutes to see if there are any other questions as I clean up a little bit. Isn't this kind of fun? Yeah, 3 polygons, you're right. This is a Wacom, so nothing's wrong here. Honestly, more than the buttons, probably my biggest criticism right now is, which they have dealt with, is that Wacom Intuos Pros, you can only use Pro pens with, which are expensive. But now this tablet can use the cheaper consumer pens, which are $30. So it works out good for people, right? So again, pens are the #1 thing that break with a tablet. So get a backup pen. Spend $30 and get a backup pen. And Oki says, I prefer a tactile click style wheel. Then I think this wheel will work for you. It feels very nice. I think they did a good job designing it. I just, again, it takes me some mental effort to figure out which thing I'm touching. Because, with a TourBox, I can use it without seeing it. With this, you'll have to sort of you'll have to sort of memorize a little bit where they are in relative to each other. And which one is the click wheel and which one's the, I don't know what you call this, express keys, right? Okay, thank you, Continue. I really appreciate the comment. We really had a lot of fun in this stream. I will be doing another stream later tonight, just for the European and Australians and people in Asia who want to cover this topic. So I appreciate everyone, because I think your comments will make that stream very successful and accelerate that one. And so with that, I think let's end this one. Oh, free plug on that one question. Initial pressure, do I notice any improvements? No, not at all. Seemed exactly the same with the Pro Pen 2. Seemed like they're both super sensitive, no difference that I could tell. No, it's okay, P3 polygons, it's okay. Okay, so I think we're good. I think we have a lot of, we actually spent, 3 hours going through this. So it flew by for me. I hope you thought it flew by as well. Thanks for your time. I really enjoyed the questions everyone asks. And I'm super excited. Wacom has been launching lots of new products lately. So I can't wait. Let's see, Seb says, you should get 5 standard, 3 felt, and 2 rubber nibs. I'll zoom in with my microscope. With my bad vision, I couldn't see that there were 3 felt and 3 rubber, but I'll take a look at it. Maybe now that I know there's supposed to be 5, 3, and 2, I'll actually understand what I'm getting. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a great time. I really appreciate it, and I'm going to be shutting down the stream in a few seconds. Thanks again, everybody. Really, really appreciate it.